Good evening everyone, welcome to another Monday evening stream. How are we this fine Monday? I say as fine as a Monday can be for the start of a working week. Good morning. Good morning, good evening, good night. How do? Hello, welcome Ollie. A little under the weather, sad to hear. Hopefully some pillars of eternity will perk you up. Right, well, as good as the music is, I feel like I'm having to shout over it, so I shall go into the game. I didn't plan to stream this week. Tomorrow I'm going out, which is I usually stream on a Tuesday. If I can't stream on a Tuesday, I stream on a Monday. And the reason why I didn't plan to stream this evening is because I was planning on putting up my newly acquired wardrobe. You know, I'm not the most DIY savvy person, but I did manage to put up a chest of drawers. So I thought, how much different can it be to put up a wardrobe? I bought the wardrobe about 2 weeks ago and it got delivered, and the company that I got it from offered a service, an assembly service for an extra fee, and I thought, I don't need their assembly service, I'll do it myself. The wardrobe came on Friday and I thought, right, today's the day, Monday, first start of the week, get my friend over who's come back from London, we'll put this wardrobe up together. Not a problem. So that was going to be the plan, that's why I was going to be busy this evening. Anyway, opened the boxes of this rather large wardrobe, heavy wardrobe, took it all the way upstairs in 3 different bits, got all the stuff out, got the instruction manual, and promptly decided perhaps I'm going to ring the company tomorrow and ask them if I can get the assembly service post-purchase. Because there's no way I'm putting that thing up. It is absolutely horrendous. The instructions aren't marvellous. It requires all kinds of different gadgets, drills, glue. That's just not happening. I'm used to putting up IKEA stuff. You know, a couple of turns on an Allen key, taps of a hammer, a screwdriver. That's about as far as I go. Drills and glue, that's a different kettle of fish. So, yeah, I'm praying to God that when I ring them tomorrow, they're not going to say, oh, you can only get the assembly service at the time of purchase. Because I'm going to be very frustrated. And they'll get a piece of my mind. Anyway, enough about DIY and wardrobes. Very bad mechanic skill. Mechanics 1. Maybe if there was such a thing as mechanics a half, it would probably be that. You know, I made my bed, but I did not make my wardrobe. Certainly not. Okay, so we're here in Fedoran's Keep. The party came here one last time to cast their eyes over affairs, to rest in the comfy beds of Bright Hollow, to catch up with other companions who we haven't seen for a little while whilst we've been in the White March. But now is the time. We have defeated all in our path. Eyeless, dragons, archmages. This Thaos character, the more we've done, the less threatening and intimidating he's become. He cannot surely be as frightening as 2 dragons and an archmage. He cannot be surely as frightening as an army of eyeless. So we're going to pursue him with a spring in our step and hope that it's not going to be a case of a misplaced sense of optimism.
Of course.
Not that we're going to use anything from this chest, but I'm just intrigued, you know. There's going to be a few crafting materials in here. Why not take them?
Hey.
We could sell a load of stuff to this guy, but we're already overflowing in cash. We got over 100,000 coin.
Hey.
Which we're going to put into transforming Consulhort's Tower into an academy of learning. That's what we're going to do. But before we get to that stage, we have to survive the upcoming confrontation. So, without further ado, we are going to press on. My day has been relatively plain for a Monday. It's kind of a busy-ish day at work.
Hey,
as busy as it gets.
Is another.
When it comes to responding to complaints. So yeah, steady away.
Hey.
And yeah, wardrobe woes. I've got a dodgy left knee, which if I crouch down for any extended period of time, it locks. And as I was crouching down, reading the instructions for the wardrobe, that happened, and my knee was out of action for about half an hour. And then promptly, when I could walk properly again, rather than rest, I started to do something. I just decided to do some cardio exercises. But it still feels fine. It is knackered though. Every time I play football, my the knee in question does give me some grief. I think my ligaments are going, but I refuse to rest. I refuse to go to the doctors. I refuse to stop playing football. I will keep going until I can no longer walk, and then it's probably too late to do anything about it. But anyway, I'm stubborn like that. Yeah, I've been playing this. I think the trouble is I've been playing five-a-side football since I was 13, so that's what, 22 years ago, and I routinely, not as much as I used to do now because of all the 3G and AstroTurf pitches, but back in the day, you could only play on the indoor hard courts, and I've played on the indoor hard courts football for years. Five-a-side football, pounding up and down the pitch, hard floor, and I'm a lot lighter now than I used to be. But when I was playing football way back when, I was a little bit heavier, shall we say. 2 stones heavier than I am now, so all that additional weight pounding down on my knees is not good for 22 years, certainly not.
Hey.
And only now am I beginning to suffer the consequences. Hello Ted, welcome! As our party meander their way towards the opening. What's my best moment playing football? That's a tough question. I've had many good moments playing football. I've played competitive five-a-side football for 8 years. Before that I used to just play friendly matches and kick-arounds with friends and the usual kind of stuff. But I started playing competitive football for 8 years, and most of my best moments have probably come. We've won numerous league titles, numerous cup titles. We've won we've won local and regional tournaments. We got to the semi-finals of the People's FA Cup, which probably would go down as one of the very high up there moment. A national tournament, reaching the semi-finals of a national tournament, being able to play at St George's Park, the England training camp, and see all the facilities that the England team use. That was only last year. That was really good fun. We got knocked out in controversial circumstances, but we'll put that to one side. Yeah, Burton, yeah. We stayed overnight in Derby and had a night out afterwards to commiserate ourselves, got drunk and had a good dance off and whatever else. So that was probably a highlight. But yeah, it's been some good times. I've personally won Player of the Season in the leagues that I play in 5 times. It's always nice to win a personal achievement. I'm a defender, so I never get top goal scorer. And it's very difficult for defenders to win Player of the Season because it's based on man of the match performances throughout the entire season. And generally they go to strikers because they score goals. So to get 5 through the years as a defender is a very good achievement, if I do say so myself. Anyway. So, yeah, biography. I've
Yeah.
checked the biography out, and I don't really like it. It's a little bit fragmented. Obviously, because it doesn't flow like a proper biography that's been written from start to finish, it just adds bits as you go through certain things. I wasn't really happy with it. I have read it off camera, and it is rather long, so I'm not going to go through it. Yeah, we'll just have to remember Fedoran's endeavours from previous videos. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we are going to put the game difficulty back up onto hard. The only reason I put it down to normal was to get through the White March, for reasons explained at the time, but now we are coming to the end of the game, and I've played the entire game barring the first handful of videos on hard, so this is now part back of the main game, so we're putting it back up again. Right,
Okay.
and then we're going to sink ourselves down. Right, okay, before I do though, D&D. Okay, last question. I have played D&D in the past, not for a long time. Best moment was, I can't remember what we were doing. It was part of the start, the D&D 4th edition starter pack, and we sort of crafted a campaign. And right at the very end, we faced, I don't know if it was a dragon. It can't have been a dragon. We were only level 1. It was some big creature that we faced. I played a wizard. What a surprise! I always play a wizard in D&D, and I was renowned, even in D&D, for my ability to fire my spells from range and then cower in the corner out of harm's way. I think through the entire campaign I only got hit twice due to very good tactical positioning and the use of long-range spells. But right at the very end, yeah, we did some. I have done some tabletops. I still do very occasionally. Currently playing the new Fallout. Sorry, dog's barking here. The new Fallout. There's a tabletop Fallout game that's come out, and we're currently playing that. But yeah, so one of my best moments in D&D was turning this big monster into a frog using a polymorph spell, allowing us to take its treasure and run. It was good fun. Anyway. Right,
Okay.
in we go. A great pit lies in the shadow of the statue of Wodica. No light from the surface reaches the bottom, but even so you catch flickers of a ghostly glow in the depths. A wind from the pit buffets you. It isn't cold, but it raises goose flesh along your arms, commonly known as goose pimples where I'm from. The wind carries a whisper, low and sibilant. Never heard of that word before. As you look into the pit, souls gather around you. They encase you in a cloud of essence that swirls around your body while you consider your next move. Well, we're not here to sightsee. Let's get ourselves jumped in. Point of no return. That's probably not Fedoran jumping in first. That's probably a dare. You jump, trusting in the promises of the gods and the power of the souls to bear you safely down. The sudden drop takes your breath away, but the souls catch you, encasing you in a shining, thrumming aura. But while they slow your descent, you can still feel that you are falling faster than you should. The essence flowing around you is strong but chaotic. You find yourself drifting toward the wall. The wall, Fedoran! Don't worry. I shall control the souls. Concentrating, you focus on the essence around you and knit it together in your mind. What was a jumble of souls becomes a single entity, coordinated and purposeful. It steers you to safety at the centre of the pit. Look at that. This is what Lengrath was missing, you see. She was too quick to want to strike us down. We could have shared and imparted our knowledge of such great power upon her, but she wasn't interested. You manage to spread your arms and legs into an X, steadying your position and the rate of your descent. You start to feel more comfortable until you notice that Durance is still falling too fast. Durance plummets, flailing and out of control. You could attempt a rescue, but the ground is approaching fast. It will take a feat of speed and agility to avoid injury. Oh boy. Oh, Durance, you moron. Of all the characters, he is the most narkiest. He is the most grumpy. He is the one... But I actually find him quite funny. I find him quite humorous. Oh, god damn it. He doesn't have speed and agility. Actually, he does have good dexterity for Doran, doesn't he? Yeah, he has good dexterity. He managed to swing up to the hand, to that skeletal hand in the White March DLC recently. He's got dexterity in spades. Not a problem, we'll save Durance. All a day's work for our hero. The ground is rising fast and you're not quite fast enough. Oh dear. You snatch Durance out of freefall, but you're unable to regain control over your own momentum in time. You take the brunt of the impact, landing hard against the millennia-old stones of the Court of the Penitents. Great stuff. Injured ribcage. Thanks a lot, Durance. Hello, Hauler, welcome. Okay, our party is considered a high level for Act 4 content. We could increase the critical path difficulty to give you more of a challenge. Oh, what should we do, folks? I put it up to hard already, but even on hard, maybe we're probably too high level. This game was what? This game came out. When this game came out, the level cap was what? Level 12? Level 10? It might have been 12. So we're probably at least 4 levels higher than we should have been. Do you know what? It makes me... do you know how this makes me feel? Yeah, it was 12. Okay. This makes me feel like I shouldn't do this. And I'll tell you why. Because of the development of our character. The things he's faced. The traumas he's faced. He's now defeated archmages and dragons and all manner of things. And I think that in the grand scheme of things, this final fight, I think it would be quite fitting if we were to steamroll these people down to demonstrate just how powerful we have become. That would be, I think that would be quite fitting, really. I'm going to put it up to high level just for the challenge, basically. I don't really want to breeze through things. But I think that would make a lot of sense for me personally. I would like to see Fedoran finally kick some ass with confidence rather than shying away, cowering away. It's almost like he's finally understanding. It's almost like he's finally understanding his own powers and that he doesn't have to be afraid of things anymore, even when the odds are stacked against him. All this trying to talk things down and try to avoid things. This could be that transitional point. As we bat Thaos aside like he's a fly under our boot. I'm going to do that. I'm sorry, folks. You are going... Oh! There we go. If it's far too easy, I may regret this. But this entire LP has been about roleplay. It's been about Fedoran's story.
Like eternity, your rapid descent comes to an abrupt end. You remain still for a moment while your heart settles and your eyes adjust, breathing in stale, forgotten air. Before you, a narrow and eroded walkway becomes faintly visible in the dim light, cutting a winding path through a cavern so expansive it seems a world unto itself. In the distance, you can make out the cold gleam of living Adra veins that spike and fork in and out of view from the murky depths beneath. Their glow a faint and fleeting guide along the ancient trail. You look above at the opening you jumped through, now barely a speck of light like some distant star alone in the cosmos and forever out of reach. Your only way lies ahead.
All right. We are in.
Think I dislocated my... Yeah. That's better.
You cannot
Everyone
know.
all right? No shattered knees? Good. Just me, then.
If there is time later, I would like to try that again without the souls.
So, yes, it's alright for you guys. I have bruised ribs because of Durrance, giving him a scathing look. What woman? What witch woman? Do you mean the grieving mother? For God, what? Something fell in front of the front door. My mother couldn't get in. She couldn't open the door because something was blocking it. Should have just left it out there. Say, no, I'll see you in 2 hours, mother. Not a problem. You just go next door with the neighbours or something. Okay. Now where were we? We have landed. The eagle has landed.
Hey.
The eagle has landed. Right, let's go.
All right, then.
Now, do we need to watch for traps here? I think we may do. We're going to go as a party, though. I think these kind of situations are pretty ripe for scripted encounters, and we don't want to risk anything foolish happening. I'm going to quick save it.
All right, then.
Ooh. Trap detected. As I suspected.
Not a sound.
Not a sound.
As
Oh, more
you
than
say.
one. We should
I
be
have
able
done as
to
you
unlock
asked.
these, though. Unlock them, disarm them, whatever you do with traps.
done.
Yeah. A millennium's worth of dust fills in the cracks and crevices of this skeletal relief.
Hey.
I hear something. I hear the whisper of souls.
Hey.
Souls, essences. Spectre. Hello, Jessa. Oh! I'm still in stealth. Oh, bloody hell! Hey, there we go. Up in flame. Up in a puff of dust. Ooh! There's no need for that. Oh, I'm stunned. Stunned Durrance. Absolutely love Nadog swinging that hammer. I really do.
Ready, Watcher.
I really have missed playing as Nadog, actually.
Ready, Watcher.
I know that obviously, for the benefit of story characters, having him out of the party was probably better, but I have missed the old narky dwarf. Okay, lots of saving.
Hey.
Lots of saving. Do not wish to backtrack too often here. Right, we've got more problems. Spectres. We'll get back to those in a moment. Right now, we have Adra Animats. We're near the end, Jessa. This is the final countdown. We are confronting the man that has given us so much grief. Okay, let's get these things done. Now, dog, unleash holy hell upon the foe.
Zawa is ready.
Oh, there's quite a few of them. Perhaps Holy Hell might not be raiding quite so soon.
That's how it's done!
Oh, they're casting some kind of chain lightning or some such nonsense. Can these things be knocked over? Yes, they can. Right, Slicken. Okay, there we go, and we'll cast just some thingamybobs. There we go. Some of our encounter abilities. Nothing too vigorous required just yet. Right, here we go. Hammer of Doom. There we go. Keep swinging, Nadal. Keep swinging. Alright, good stuff. This chair of mine is doing my head in. I need a new gas canister.
Hey.
I've needed a new gas canister for about 4 or 5 months, and I have still not bought one for it.
Of course.
And the chair keeps just gradually going down and down and down. But it only happens. It just happens for it does it for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then it's fine. But for that 5 to 10 minutes, it's a flaming pain. The ancient Adra still bears the impression of the 1,000 souls broken upon it. Your soul burns with remembered suffering.
Hey.
Trap! Knew it was coming. Knew it was coming before I even
Yes.
bloody... Tower! You have got to learn to not rush in. Daybreak. We've got a unique Morning Star, which nobody's going to use. Braces of Deflection, which we already have, or multiple times. And a Potion of Major Endurance, which we're going to give to Fedoran for now.
Hey.
Right, is this... This is the Soul Guardian Pillars. Potion of Major Durance. If you could bottle up Durance in a potion, it would taste very salty.
You're not getting to...
Okay. Fedoran very happy with how things are proceeding right now.
Hey.
And as I said, he's striding through this ruin with an air of newfound confidence. I think the tipping point for him and his confidence in his own ability was that fight with the Adra Dragon and Lengrath. If he can get through that in one piece, he can get through anything, he thinks.
Hey.
Not to mention, he now has 4 Archmages grimoires, 2 of which he has taken from their dead bodies, 2 of which he has found in his travels. So he has the most potent spells in history at his fingertips. Holy smokes! Pull back! Pull back! Pull back! Let them come to us.
Leave it to me!
What is this? One at a time, folks. Just take them one at a time. Oh, they're actually causing some damage here. Let's just not be too blasé.
This fight is...
Good stuff. Come on.
Hey.
And the longer we keep slaying spectres and Adra animats,
Hey.
the more and more Fedoran is getting impatient. Where is Thaos? We haven't come to fight these minions. We haven't come to fight these things. We have come for the main man himself. Does he hide from us? Is he scared? Sol Adra prison. Come on, you great hulking hunks of hunks of metal. Right. There we go. Take us. Take a cat nap. Alright, let's go for chill fog. Oh, they don't like that. Look at them. They're all going a bit higgledy-piggledy. They're not happy. They're not happy in the cold. It's causing decent damage.
Can't get a good shot at this.
Leave it to me.
There we are. Oh, and Dragonsmaw Shield has been upgraded once again. All Soulbound upgrades are complete. What else has it given us? It's put us up to Superb Deflection. Grants Dragon's Breath, 1 per rest. Look at that, that's nice. And Bash. So now that I did say that once we'd unlocked all the upgrades for it, we would read the entirety of it. It's quite a long one, but you know what? This looks like it's an epic shield, man. It took a shield of the caliber of this thing to finally get a dare to part with his Lardador. So it's worth reading. This shield was traditionally passed between dragon hunters to honour exceptional feats and kills. Receiving the Dragonsmaw Shield is one of the highest honours among dragon hunters, and over the years it's been the object of countless bets, soured friendships, lifelong apprenticeships, and violent deaths. Renetta the Scarred received the shield when she was still young for an especially brave, or foolish, battle against the stone dragon. She lost one of her eyes and all of her teeth, but she defeated the beast and received the shield on what many expected would be her deathbed. However, Renetta recovered and lived a long life to the consternation of many. She ceased hunting dragons and took to training pupils, of which she had many. All were eager to learn from the steward of the Dragonsmaw Shield, and many hoped she might pass it on to them. Yet her contemporaries grumbled that she should pass it on if she had given up the hunt. And they complained that no hunter should profit financially from the shield. Renetta eventually bestowed it on another hunter, but by this time she was a very wealthy woman. The twins, Marad and Devna, hunted dragons together for many years. They became successful, yet it was handsome Marad that their peers and admirers loved best. Devna was sharp-tongued and plain, and though her skill with the spear was undeniable, she always lived in her brother's shadow. I see something going wrong with this relationship. They had fought hard and hunted together for almost 20 years when the Dragonsmaw Shield passed to Marad. Devna congratulated her brother and accepted his honour as gracefully as she could. After all, the shield had always had a single steward, but some saw resentment in her simmering in her eyes. Others said her reflexes slowed, and her aim faltered. Whispers circulated that she was past her prime. Within a year of Marad receiving the shield, he perished beneath the claws of a sand dragon. Devna survived and retrieved the shield, but many blamed her failing skills for her dashing brother's death. Others suspected that she killed him in a fit of jealousy. Whatever the case, she quickly passed the shield to her successor and lived the remainder of her days as a recluse. Lirat, the swineherd, never wanted to be a dragon hunter, but when his village drew the attention of a particularly nasty crank dragon, he was chosen to deal with it. Armed with his uncle's rusty sword and a single dose of heathbush poison, just in case, he set out to find the beast. The dragon was not hard to find. Lirat could hear its snores from half a mile away and smell it from further still. He followed a trail of bones to a cave where the beast lay sleeping, surrounded by the bodies of dead and dying pigs. As Lirat entered the cave, one of the wounded swine squealed. This woke the dragon, which swallowed the pig whole. Only then did the beast notice Lirat, and in its surprise, it choked on the pig. Lirat nearly died of fright as he watched the dragon writhe and convulse, but the dying pig had lodged itself firmly in the dragon's unfortunately long throat, and within minutes the monster was dead. Expertly played. Despite his protests, Lirat was hailed as a hero. As word of his deed spread, and as the supposed size of his dragon grew, he attracted the attention of Turan the Bold, who passed the shield to the young swineherd. Lirat enjoyed a year of feasts and fetes, but when questions circulated about his next conquest, he passed the shield to another hunter. Although Fedoran would not have been so reluctant to ham up the story. Oh yes, a pig happened to lodge itself in the dragon's throat. Of course, it was a well-aimed pig. Yes, a polymorph. We have polymorph pig, do we not?
Ready when you are.
We have a spell that we can turn things into pigs. So we cast a spell on something and turned it into a pig, and then we threw the pig down the dragon's throat personally. Oh yes. Because there are many ways to beat a dragon. Some like to strike it down with spells.
Hey.
Some like to run swords through its throat. But no, we like to make it choke on pig.
Hey.
Just to be different. That's what Fedoran would have said.
Hey.
But alas, it was not he, but some random swineherd who took the plaudits. Right.
Zawa is ready.
Check for traps.
I will walk unseen.
Good lad.
I will try. Done.
Hey.
All right. Ooh. God, how many pets have we got? Shall we even run through the pets we've got? I mean, the pet we've had probably the longest is I don't know if it has been the longest,
Hey.
but Ginger certainly is a keeper. I really like Ginger the cat, really do. I think he goes really well with Fedoran. But yeah, in terms of pets, then, shall we have a quick? We'll have a quick look before we continue on. The menagerie that we have. Now these pets are obviously back at Fedoran's keep, running amok in Bright Hollow, no doubt. But we have, first of all, come on, let's get to it. We have Consul Hort's skull. Yeah, this pet is caged up in a glass case for fear of it doing something really nasty. Floating through some mysterious power of its own, chattering its teeth and rolling its burning eyes. Yeah, that one is definitely not left running or rather floating loose. We have our little baby Lagu Faith. High-pitched warbling sounds, iridescent skin flashing in shades of blue and purple. He's a little cutie. Got him in the White March. We had him running around our feet for a while. We've got a black and white cat. I mean, nothing against black and white cats, of course, but we just prefer our Ginger. But of course, when Ginger goes back to Fedoran's keep for a rest, sometimes they get on very well together. We have a tiny animat, little animat. I think we might have, can't remember where exactly got this. Did we get this in Do you get this in Durgan's battery, perhaps? I'm not quite so sure, but a little miniature-sized animat running around. Yeah, not quite as cute, but it could almost be like a little servant, perhaps. You've got Tiny Beetle, a little beetle pet. Not good for insects, really. Similarly, Tiny Spider pet. Okay. Yeah, I'm sure somebody in Fodor's Keep likes spiders, but Fodor's probably not overly keen. And look, we have another little cutie pie. I think we found, I can't remember where we found it. Did we find this in Fodor's Keep on the underlevels? We found this on Fodor's Keep in the underlevels. Little tiny white worm, little dragonling. Although we've been going for a couple of months, it's probably a little bit bigger now. But that's probably somewhere causing mayhem, setting fire to parchments in our Bright Hollow library, keeping Alof on his toes. We have our Black Hound. This was, I think, the first pet we came across. This was the pet from the Black Hound Inn in, what's the place called again? Gilded Vale? The very first pet. Look, his sad eyes, lost his owner. He's never been the same since. As much as we try, he's always been a little bit depressed, bless him. We have Giant Miniature Space Piglet. This came with the DLC, or came at the start of the game, along with Gorn's Pledge Ring, I think, if I remember rightly. Very strange, but he gets on very well with our other pet, which is this little piglet that we got from the Deerford village. Yeah. 2 pigs together. One of them, a giant miniature space piglet. Reminds me of Baldur's Gate, the description, when it comes to a giant miniature space piglet. It just reminds me of Minsk's Space Hamster Boo. We have Bronze Abaddon statue. Okay, that's not a pet. And that's the nature, that's as much pets as we've got running around. It is actually a reference, is it? Oh, it is a reference to Baldur's Gate. It's supposed to be. Ah, makes sense. Hello, Shelley, welcome. Minsk and Boo, stand ready.
Hey.
It'd be quite fun to do a run-through of this game with personally customised characters, but customised to be Baldur's Gate characters. Because you can actually customise your entire party. So you could technically actually recreate your favourite Baldur's Gate party and have them run through this game together. That would be quite cool.
Hey.
What do we have here? Did you watch my LP of Baldur's Gate, Jessa? You won't like Godan. He killed Minsk. A column of Adra rises above you, stoic and silent. Its ridged layers a measuring stick for the passing of ages. It feels to you as a thick block of ice, and you perceive buried deep in its core a dim flickering flame, all but extinguished, yet preserved against the ravages of the elements. At your approach, the flame seems to steady and draw strength, and the layers separating it from you melt away, and you are bathed in its glow, a bright beacon in the gloom. The glow seems to fade, as though you had adjusted to its intensity, and where it was, Iovara seeps into existence, an idyllic shade hovering above the moist prison floor. Though ageless, she appears somehow different to you now, a slight stoop to her carriage, perhaps, or a trace of sunkenness in her eyes. There is a broad scar across her face, fibrous and wormy, where flames once lapped, unhealed, even in death.
You've come back. I had thought to have set you on the right path ages ago. Or did I merely fail a second time? You are so different now from who you were then, yet much remains the same. Old troubles with a new face. What is it that has brought you here?
I have unfinished business here.
I'd hoped after our last discussion you would find what you sought. Has it eluded you all this time? I can only guess your presence here has something to do with Thaos. The energy of this place changes when he is near. I don't know what he has done, but I do know of the souls that pass through here now. They do not come by choice.
Thaos diverted them from the cycle. He seeks to empower Boudica and to blame Animancy for the damage he's caused.
After all this time, he would still stand against the tide.
You knew me when Thaos did. There's something I need to know about that time.
I will tell you what I remember.
There's something about that lifetime my soul can't let go of. I need to know what it is. And I'm running out of time. I see moments from that life, of you, of the Inquisition, of Thaos.
I can see his influence, still hanging like a weight about your neck. So it always was. He had inspired something in you. We spoke of him the last time you were here also. It was just after the trial. You were agitated. I think because you started to consider that what I was teaching may have been true.
And what were you teaching? Ivara's mouth tightens and her brow furrows a look of pity. Her eyes shift back and forth between each of yours, as if looking for something that would help her decide whether to speak.
That the gods aren't real.
What?
She's not serious.
What is this blasphemy? Not that Fedoran is religious, but for the love of God, we've conversed with them numerous times.
Perhaps not to her. Many are those whom the gods have scorned. This is petty retribution.
This is not going well with our party.
That doesn't seem possible.
Nope, they all seem to not like that that revelation.
What I taught was that the gods whose faith we had been spreading were not gods at all, but something else entirely. Something created by people.
Created by people? Who created them? And for what purpose?
They were conceived by Engwith, a society of high minds and broad concerns. Thaos' people. In their time, every people worshipped its own gods. Sometimes they warred over it. After a few wars of their own, the Engwithans sought an end to it. They devoted all their energy to finding the true creators. Generation after generation, they prodded and worked the stitching of the world and unlocked its secrets. One day, they found an answer. Except the answer was no answer at all. There were no gods to be found. Or if there ever were, they were gone. It shook them, this finding. If they could discover this on their own, how long until others would? How long before war and chaos reigned over a world without consequence? But they had mastered many things in their pursuit of these answers. And with their mastery, they crafted their own gods to fill the void, and sent missionaries to the corners of the world to spread their faith.
How do you know this?
The Engwithan missionaries all knew it, but they never told the rest of us. They meant it to be a secret that died with them. And in the end, they allowed their bloodlines to fade from memory. I had been assigned to join a few of them at a temple. I found the door to their chambers closed, but the room was stone and the door thin. Their voices carried. I heard enough. I investigated the things they spoke of, and everything was there, just as they said it'd be.
Later on, after I left the Order, a few Engwithans found my words persuasive and joined my cause. They revealed what I did not already know. And this is why you started your own faith.
I never thought of it as faith, but I think you are right to call it that. Let the world see. Let them decide what to do. That was my faith. I became a missionary because the gods brought me hope that I wanted to bring to others. For a time, the truth sent me to a dark place. Then the day came when I realized nothing had changed. That I still had a purpose, and the purpose was the same and it was worth living for. I began questioning the other missionaries in public, exposing their parlor tricks. In time, their following became mine.
Is it true? What you taught?
You asked me this once before. Nothing I can say would be any proof, and it may be certainty your soul craves. Resolution. But if you are bound for the same place Thaos directs these souls, you will see for yourself as you once did. Everyone faces this truth at one time or another. Few confront it. Few have the stomach to ask what if. And in avoiding the question, they deny themselves an identity of their own.
Iovara scans her audience in silence, her eyes thoughtful, lingering on each member of your company in turn, finding interest in things unseen.
What if all the tragedy, all the persecution, came in defense of an imposter?
But that's not... That can't be right. Aethys, he's done miracles for people.
The power of the gods is undeniable. The truth of the story they weave is not. What if it were forbidden knowledge rather than fault that earned your doom? What of your guilt?
Margren set a path for me. She is fickle and cruel, but that is how she teaches. You know nothing of the fires that have shaped me.
And what if the fires themselves were lies? Lies you told yourself to bridge the gap between experience and truth.
Beads of sweat coalesced on Durance's forehead and trickled down the sides of his face in streaming rivulets, as though he were a block of ice standing before a great pyre.
What if our burdens come to us not because they are meant to be, but because they happen to be?
They shape us all the same. It doesn't matter how I drew the small tooth, or even that Persock had become a deer. The task fell to me, and I completed it.
She turns to Zawa, who regards her with the rapt attention of an altered mind.
What if some things can never be recovered, and no greater good comes from their loss?
Nothing is truly lost when its influence remains.
All things pass in time, even influence. What if their purpose then?
You feel the weight of Iovara's translucent eyes upon your soul. What if we can be assured of nothing? I was going to say that, you know. I was going to say, of all the people that probably gets what she's saying, it's probably Zawa. Most. Closely followed by Sagani. And then the people that really don't give a crap for what she's saying would probably be Adair, and certainly Durance would be top of that list. Nadog just doesn't give two cahoots. He just wants to smash something with his hammer. Can we be done talking now? I'm getting rather bored. Right, what were we going to say to this little revelation then? What if he can be assured of nothing? Do you know what? I think he's confused. I don't know. This is a bombshell. I have not thought of this. I had not considered this. I have no wise words at this moment in time. I don't know.
You don't need to. Everything you choose to do in light of it will be your answer. I ask these things not to trouble you, but to show why they must be confronted. No answer is simple, but somewhere between them all lies a truth so beautiful, not even a god could conceive it. Do we not owe ourselves a chance to find our part in it?
as you say, does it make a difference?
I often wonder that myself. If things had gone differently, if the world had taken my faith instead of the Anguithin's faith, would it truly be what I had envisioned? I've been alone here with my thoughts for so long now. I've found peace with my failures, and with my punishment. I no longer curse fate for what might have been. But there is one thing that has clawed and scraped at my mind all these years. One thing that will not be put to rest until I know. Until I understand.
For the first time, hints of doubt trace her serene visage.
I need to know why you chose to remain with the Inquisition, even after you'd learned the truth. Do you remember?
As she asks, the memory springs to your mind immediately, as though it had just happened. Oh, literally, we have to make this up because we don't know. So, if I'm imagining Fedoran in a past life, I'm imagining probably somebody the complete opposite of what he is now. And what he is now is he's a fearful guy. Oh, well, he was. As I said, he's getting a bit more. He's overcoming that now. But he was. But he's a kind-hearted fella. Likes to help people. Honest. We could bring up his traits. In his character sheet. But his honesty, diplomacy. He's very helpful. So the opposite of that would be a nasty piece of work. Yeah. Your capture brought me glory. Personal glory. He's not saying this as if he's saying it now. But this, yeah. This was his past life, complete opposite to what he is now. Did it for the glory.
Was it really all for that? The esteem of the Inquisition?
She stifles a small relieved laugh.
Good. The things I taught, the things I believed, I needed to hear that. I needed to know it wasn't because...
Because what? I needed to know it wasn't because after everything you'd learned, you'd still rather believe in a lie. If that is a conclusion people reach once they know everything, then my purpose has been a mistake. Did my opinion matter that much to you?
We knew little of each other before you arrived at my camp. You might have been anybody. Which is why your choice meant everything. You had heard both sides, seen everything. If not you, then who?
I do see your point.
I'm aware of the folly of trying to learn so much from so little. I've had time to consider that in all its facets. But in the end, it was all I had. Even knowing what you've told me, some part of me knows it doesn't truly answer what I wished to know, nor will an eternity of silent contemplation. I will have only my guesses and suspicions, and that will have to do. And what of your understanding of our past? Are you at ease with the choice you made?
Of course. I am not at ease. I am a different person now. I'm not going to ask for her forgiveness. As I said, it's a different life, different person. It wasn't me who made that choice. I bear no responsibility for it.
At first I thought this might be the source of your soul's anguish.
Ooh.
But now I see I was mistaken. You are not divided on this matter. You have put it behind you. It is with Thaos that your agony lies,
Indeed
in
it
silent
is.
shadow.
It does indeed.
Your questions are not for me, but for him.
Yes, they are.
And it may be that only an answer from the mouth of Thaos himself will satisfy your needs.
That is exactly right.
Yet if there is anything I can tell you that would be of use, ask and you shall know.
Right. Okay. Let's get to the nitty-gritty here. What is this place, Sun in Shadow? I could tell you what I believe, but again it would be no proof. I have only what I have seen and what others have told me about it. There is only one man who can tell you now, who knows it to a certainty, and you shall face him soon enough. I will leave you to see it for yourself, make your own judgments. Better for your soul that way, I think. And why has Thaos done all of this?
He cares only for the secret he keeps locked away. He destroys anyone who might discover it, no matter their chances. That's why he's always favored Woodica. It isn't in her love of promises or justice. It's her disregard for the rules. Her willingness to do what is necessary. To Thaos, she's not a deity, but an ally with which to conspire. When her power waxes, she does as she pleases with this realm, as well as hers. And she wants that secret guarded as much as he. If Thaos succeeds, there will be a shift in the balance of power among the gods. Woodica was vanquished once, when the other gods decided she had gone too far, and her power diminished. With this infusion, there is no telling what she will do. The only certainty is that there will be chaos in their realm, as well as ours.
Do you know what I need from him? Because I have not got the foggiest clue what I'm going to say when I stand face to face with a man.
I could not say for sure. But you have been to Sun and Shadow before, and it came at a crossroads in your life, when much of what you knew had been upended. I have to believe it will come to you there. Your concerns then were of loyalty and trust and the gods. Everything I told you seemed to send you further into doubt. His words mattered to you when you knew him then. After you and I spoke, you went immediately to seek him out. Perhaps you simply sought confirmation from the man you trusted. If something from that time still troubles you, it may be something he told you then, or refused to tell you. He keeps secrets better than any in this world.
I'm not going to ask that. We'll figure it out. Are you bound here until the end of time?
In a matter of speaking. This is Breath Yamen, the court of the penitents. Souls are confined here until they repent. They must beg the forgiveness of a god, pledge their soul to them, and they will be lifted from this place to the world above. In truth, they receive leniency, but not true mercy. The spite of Woodica is eternal. They linger above, at the side of the old court, and are not permitted to leave the island, forever severed from the cycle. This prison was full once in the days of the Inquisition, but time weathers all things, even will. I'm the only tenant who remains. Yet, I feel their presence strongly now, as it was in the beginning. You have brought many of them here. They cry out for the judgment of Thaos. You have struck some bargain with the gods, then.
We have struck a bargain. I need to read about the bargain and just make sure we make the right choice. The other gods aid me because they want Thaos destroyed. I owe them no debt.
They aid you because they would bend you to their own purposes. Engwith built gods from ideals, and an ideal on its own is a grotesque and vicious thing.
That's interesting, because I thought there was going to be two. I think, well, there was going to be two choices. I can't remember exactly what they were, but the gods asked, one set of gods asked us to do one thing, another set of gods asked us to do another thing. I'm wondering if there might be a third choice. Possibly.
But these souls, these forgiven the gods have bequeathed you like chattel. They were loyal followers in life. They will be with you to the very end.
Well, she ain't going to repent, that's for sure. No point of asking that either. Okay, it's time for us to go. We have flapped our gums for long enough.
Thaos will not wait for you. If you do not catch up to him now, you may never find him again.
Oh, that sort of jolts Fedor into action. Huh. The hell is all this? If you repent, you could join with them. Help me strike the final blow. Interesting. She knows a lot. I don't think she'll be up for that, but... I will repay you for this curse. Okay, we're going to try this. Don't think she's going to be down with it, but she would be a very useful ally to have in, well, in soul form.
If I repent, all I have done has meant nothing.
I thought not. I thought I'd ask. Sorry, if I've offended you. But as you say, there's no time to waste. Thank you for your insight, Ivara. It will no doubt prove most useful when the time comes.
Your soul deserves an end to its suffering. I'm sorry I wasn't able to grant it myself. May it come to you swiftly. If ever we should meet again, in this life or any other, I hope to find you at peace.
Oh my god. Whew. I think I need a cup of tea after that conversation. Good lord, have given me strength. Whew. It makes me wonder, the more that conversation went on, especially right at the very end there, it makes me wonder, can we actually die?
Hey.
If we screw this up? Possibly, maybe. Right.
Hey.
We can't afford to let her revelations, her copious words, cloud our judgment. We haven't got time to mull them over. We need to move, and we need to move quickly. We're going to rest. And in fact, for roleplay purposes, it makes no sense to rest. I know we have constitution injuries and stuff, but it does make no sense at all to rest at this point. We will press on without resting.
All right, then.
Adair wants to talk, I have noticed. Don't worry. I'm also thinking, when is it going to be time for Durance's quest to finish?
Hey.
Have we missed a trick, or is he waiting until the bitter end to finally tell us what we need to know?
Doesn't that just beat all? Here I was, wondering all this time whether all these terrible things were people's fault or the gods. Turns out they might be the same thing. Wonder how things would have gone different 15 years ago if the Raid Sarens had been told their god was made in some forge or kiln someplace. Would we still have gone to war?
Yes, indeed. There's no point in wondering about what we'll never know. Although, would that have changed people's... I don't know if it would, you know. I don't know if it would. You know, people follow inanimate objects religiously. You know, does it matter? Anyway, that's a different matter. We're not wondering about this now. There's no time for this kind of chit-chat. No time for this pondering.
I could see the rebellion still happening, but I don't know that they would have invaded.
He looks down at the ground, drumming his fingers against his side restlessly. When he speaks again, it seems half to himself.
I don't know.
You don't... Oh my god, we can't have these doubts now. This is not the time for this.
When Woden left for war, we, had a fight. As brothers will.
Oh. Oh. It's been a long time since he's mentioned his brother. We won't quite cast him aside on this conversation topic. What about?
About him going off to war. He was set on it. My parents warned him. They said you get a new country with every trip across the border, but your God, you only get the one. Me? I didn't know who was right. All I knew was I didn't want him to go. It's the same for families as it is for gods. You only get the one. I said every vicious thing I could think of, trying to change his mind. He brushed it off. Just got me madder, of course, him being so calm. He said I should come with him, but he'd understand if I didn't want to. I told him he'd better be able to face his God one day and answer for what he'd done. He said he'd keep that in mind. And then, he was gone. By the time I'd cooled off, months had passed. One morning it dawns on me that my brother always knew better than me. If he was so sure of what he was doing, then I should be there with him. I packed my things and was on the road that same morning. Of course, what I didn't know then was he'd already changed his mind. By that time, he was dead on that field.
Do you think he went to Wydron because of what you'd said to him?
Crossed my mind. You live in a place like Gilded Vale. You don't have a whole lot else to do other than think about things you don't want to think about. I hope that wasn't it. I hope he went there because it's what he thought was right. But it seems I'm not meant to know.
I see. So if you'd left with him, of course, he would have known why he'd changed his mind.
If I'd have left with him, we'd both be dead, so I don't know why I bother thinking about it.
Well...
He asked me to trust him the day he left. Said if I went with him, he'd make sure we were on the right path. And he deserved that. He deserved that trust from me. Raid Saris is a long way to walk on your own. I think I'd have liked to have been there with him on that journey. Even knowing how it ended.
Oh, very sad time, very sad. But I don't mean to be rude there, but we best be on our way. We'll have time for reflections when this is all said and done.
Still one more mess we gotta straighten out. Come on then. I still owe you one.
Right.
What?
You, mister. You got anything you need to say?
If doubts and curiosity plague you,
I think it's... I don't
Hey.
know. I think it'll probably crop up if... when he's ready to talk. The Trials of Durance. He did what? He's obviously in denial about this whole situation. This developed quite recently. Okay, I did save. Right, we're off. We're off, skis. We're off down some steps. Oh, steps of doom. Fedoran's getting itchy feet, itchy hands. He's probably twitching his robes. He's probably straightening his hat. He's just finding things to do to occupy himself. He knows he's getting closer. Sun in shadow. Yeah, this is a rather big place, and it's rather dark. Hence the name Sun in Shadow, perhaps.
Hey.
Can't see a damn thing.
Do not be deceived by the darkness. It is an illusion. There is a path here.
If you care to light it up for us, I would be most grateful. Because I cannot see a damn thing. Look at that.
Hey.
Make sure there's
Not a sound.
no traps in this darkness. So because I'm not playing this in the daytime, this would be like 10 times worse, considering the glare from my desk's position. And what is going on here? I think we're lighting this place up like a Christmas tree. Okay.
Look at the size of this place.
That's one way to cast some light on the situation.
And, I had something in my eye. I missed most of it. Hey.
There we go. Doran had no idea what was going on there, but rest assured he's very happy that we have light on the situation. Ooh, a diamond.
Ready when you are.
It was probably another one of these things. What's this? Yeah, it was steps to the wheel. The Watcher gives his or her foes a glimpse into the afterlife by displacing their souls and leaving them momentarily paralysed and sickened. Ah, okay, so we've got an alternative way to paralyse here. Do we still have plenty of our paralyse scrolls from our dragon fight?
Zawa is ready.
I wouldn't say plenty, but we've got a few.
Ready when you are.
Hey.
He won't see me coming.
It's all very quiet. All very tense. Lots of these bodies. This is what happened to the bodies when those machines worked their charms, left them in this desiccated state. What the hell is that? An Engwithan shade. Good God. Horrific thing.
Hey.
Well, here we go. It's very weak to fire damage. Probably is it a vessel or it's a spirit?
Still alive? I need something sharper.
As you can hear, Nadrok
Zawa is ready.
reveling in the action now.
Hey.
Let me at him! Blasted things.
Hey. Hey. Hey.
I'll take a look.
Look at that. Dragon skeleton. Ooh.
Malkachoa reveals many things.
Gauntlets of swift action. What does Zawa have equipped? Anything to make him punch quicker would be pretty nifty. Deflection or faster attack speed. Even more punches. That's what I know. It's a very tempting proposition. I have to admit. In fact, do we have a superior deflection ring that we can actually replace? Yes, we do. So get rid of one of these rings. Ring of protection. Okay, it's not bad. This ring is not so good. I mean, it does prevent protections against hobbled, stuck, paralyzed attacks. A little bit of extra damage reduction against Pierce. But I'm thinking that we'll get rid of that. We'll put a deflection ring on and replace that deflection glove with the gloves of quick punching. We're going to call them. We're going to call them the old gloves of quick punching. Where are they? There we go. Yeah, lovely. His quick punching gloves. Marvellous.
Hey.
What is this? It's not letting us interact with this corpse, this dragon skeleton. Never mind. Up here. Ooh, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Ooh, Shadow Drake. Oh, what are you doing down there, Nadog? Perhaps he knew what was coming. I don't need to go just in a dragon graveyard. Thank you very much. Oh God! Oh, we're in a pickle here. Gwithan shades are surrounding us, and we have a Shadow Drake just randomly flapping by. Okay, we need to get out of stealth mode here. Get out of stealth mode, if we can. Yeah, we face dragons. This is only a Drake. This should not be a problem, right? Should not be an issue. Kind of want to reposition the party, if we can. Come here. That's fine. Right, oh, it's still flapping its wings. Turn and fit. Right, we need the front fighters. Nadog, Itumak. Come forth. Squishies to the rear.
Hey.
Right, Itumak's got him under control. Zawa with his quick punching has got this one under control. Adair's going right for the middle. Nadog is just going to get right into the heart of the rear of the enemy and just cause holy hell to break loose. Not a problem. Can he get past? He can't get past. Right, that's fine. Okay, off we go. I'm thinking... What am I thinking here? What am I thinking here? Does it? We do. Well, I'm going to use some big spells, but which ones to use? That's the question. I'm thinking. It's a Drake. Would fire be a bad thing here? These things are definitely weak to fire. Like we saw last time. So we're going to use with our priest here. We're going to use Storm of Holy Hellfire on these creatures, and for Doran is going to use. I think he's going to use Chain Lightning. We'll try Chain Lightning. We'll try that. Oh, see you later, Ollie. And Nadog is he's a little bit stuck at the minute. Can't really.
That's how it's done.
That caused quite a bit of damage to the shades, at least. Right, we'll just pop some of these spells for now, something like that. What are you doing, Fedoran? Let's not do that. Okay, that's worked quite well. Pull back.
What is it?
Sagani, shoot this thing. And you can do that.
Sharp. That's
I wonder if is he in there? No, he's not in the front.
This is why you were traveling alone. Hey.
Right, good.
Hey.
Guardian's Dome.
Hey.
Whale.
Just say the word.
is the meaning of this? The shadows in the cavern suddenly lengthen and swallow you. When your eyes adjust to the darkness, you find yourself in the midst of what must be another vision. You are surrounded by mists. The ground feels springy under your feet. You imagine that as soon as you take a step, the soil behind you will erase all trace of your passage. As if on cue, the mists before you clear just enough for you to take a couple of steps forward. You do, and the fog closes behind you. You continue for several minutes in this manner, one step at a time, never seeing more than the ground right in front of you. Eventually, rays of light cut through the haze, and you find yourself facing a canyon wall. Durance's head twitches, as though a mosquito had flown into his ear. He swings haphazardly at the air with his staff. Something whizzes past you. Just as you turn, you catch another whir of movement. Out of the mist flits a shape, small and round. You think you see another, and another. They tickle the corners of your vision. You turn back to the canyon wall. The sun shifts along its path, and what looked like a smooth rock face is the hollow of a cave. A figure steps out, its features shifting and changing before your eyes. The figure transforms from male to female, from Orlan to Almawa, its bones lengthening and its fur receding into its flesh. The only detail that remains constant is the smooth, eyeless face. The whizzing, rushing shapes from the mist converge on the figure, and as they form a spinning cloud, you realise that they are eyes.
You understand the value of a mystery watcher. A buried scroll, a hidden truth. These are my ways.
A buried scroll. That was a quest, wasn't it? Back for the that place in Copper Lane that we screwed up.
You unravel a thread, Watcher. One you have lost and discovered over generations. And following it to its end has only brought you back to the beginning.
The eyes track you even as they circle the god. I'm sick of these riddles. Speak plainly. Whale giggles, a strangely modulated sound that rises and falls as the god shifts from one form to the next. And drain the meaning from the end you have almost achieved. Your search for answers to your past has led you to another mystery, and one grander still. Yeah, I think he's losing his patience. The form of the question prepares the seeker for the answer, Watcher. And while you seek to repair your past, Boudica seeks to restore her future.
A nebula of souls, blind and brimming with potential. The answer to Boudica's question and the beginning of yours. What would you do with them?
Thunderclouds form overhead, casting shadows of movement across the canyon. I did think there was going to be a third option. I had a feeling there was going to be a third option. Didn't think it was going to come from another god. I thought perhaps it was something that was Fedorn was going to think about on the hoof sort of thing. So from Galloway, Magron and Abaddon, we can use the souls to fortify other souls in the Deerwood. Rimgrand, Ondra and Skane would have me dissolve them. Now we sided with these guys initially, but if there's another option, for fear of drawing these gods' ire after we've promised them, we'll just at least hear him out. The clouds break and the torrent of rain washes Whale's features clean. His blank face moulds itself again, taking on the shape of something you've never seen before. Do not consign the souls of the fate of some god's choosing. You have found them, now scatter them across existence. Their destination known to neither god nor mortal. Let them be lost again, new answers to new riddles. Behind him, the sudden downpour has carved new caves into the canyon. What end would that serve?
No end, Watcher. That is the purpose.
What would happen to the souls?
None know. They could end up anywhere in the realms of gods or mortals, whole or divided. Discovering them again and charting their course through the ether will be a new mystery.
Well, you say I shouldn't let a god decide their fate, but here you are proposing me to do just that.
In a way. But something must be done, and hurling them from the machinery of other schemes is the truest course of action.
Well, we don't have anything else to say on the matter, apparently. I'll bear it in mind. Farewell.
That is a word for endings, and this is but a crossroads. Even I do not know what you would choose.
Shadows from the new caves melt and spread across the landscape, covering you in darkness. When the light returns, the vision is gone. Oh, well. When the time comes, there'll be choices to make, will there not?
Hey.
A long segment of the bridge rises over the ruins of an ancient city. It looks stable enough, but the wide gap leaves little room for error. We shall take a running jump and hope that nothing goes wrong. Durance gets the running start and leaps over the gap. However, Durance cries out upon landing and collapses on the other side in a tangle of limbs. Oh my god, Durance, this is the second time. You fool! Twisted his ankle. What are you playing at?
Hey. Of course.
Where are we? How do we get out of here? What's this? I'm confused. Are we stuck? Can't see. Where have we jumped to here? Unless there was another way on this. Have I jumped to the wrong side here? Let's give him one more chance. Yeah. Last chance.
Lay low.
Durance. The city extends as far as the eye can see. Right, I'm going to jump across again here. I don't think this is the right... Is this the right way? I've not got a clue. Let's just... Is it... Oh my god, he's done it again! Sprained his wrist now. Good grief. Right, okay, we've got another one of these things here. I think we're gonna have to okay, now put him down. He's gonna end up putting himself down, don't worry about it.
Hey.
Oh, we're surrounded. We're surrounded! But thankfully I don't think there's a big shadow drake coming this time though. So we should be fine. Hopefully. Charge! Okay, You know what? Can we kind of maneuver ourselves into a corner here so we don't get flanked? Right, turn.
Hey.
There we go, nicely done. Right, alrighty, we're good to go. Oh, there is a shadow. I didn't see you flying in there, Mr. Drake. Welcome.
Still alive?
Oh dear. This is a rather big creature here. I think we're going to go with the same tactic as last time. We'll use the fiery bolts of doom here. And we're going to go again. I think Chain Lightning worked quite well. Sagani. Just shoot the Drake, I think.
Hey. All right then.
So we've actually reached a situation where we have kind of branching paths. We have down the steps, we have down this way, or we have a doorway here. Which seems to lead to I don't know where. So we'll leave the door for now, but we'll bear it in mind. That could be the way out, actually, possibly. Or the way forwards. This could just be a dead end, for all we know. Ooh, more shamblers. Lots of shamblers. Let them come to us. Let us not rush ourselves here. Okay, now we shall go.
Hey.
Now, dog, get stuck in.
So much.
Oh god. This is not quite working so well, but there you go. That's it, get stuck in.
Still alive? I need some.
You're not. Of course. Hey.
Alright, so this is a dead end. I'll just check these stairs out. In fact, before I get to the stairs, there's another little area just here, which leads to 2 dead bodies. Exceptional rod and some armour. Oh, that's the wrong button there. That could have been disastrous. If that was quick load or something.
Hey.
See you, chum. Okay, and that appears to be also a dead end, so there's nowhere to go other than through the door. So through the door we shall go. Do, 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 do.
Hey.
Doodle doo doo. Doodle doo. Okay. We have travelled a long way. Waited a long time for this. We need answers.
ready to take the oath, to spread the word of the gods to the lost and heathen.
Words we've heard before.
I am trusting you to remain loyal to the gods in this. If you do not, you will have greater powers than me to answer to. But you will answer to me as well. I wouldn't ask this were there any other choice.
This is a missionary, same as I was. Taught the wrong things as I was. Oceanus. They have held off many would-be invaders.
You are ready to give a confession?
I'm ready to hear one from you.
Alrighty. We're here. Almost. Almost here. Getting there. You've come to a circular room, grand and domed, its walls lined with adra and trimmed with copper. At the far end, a great pillar of adra pierces the floor from below like a ragged spike, its shimmering texture giving the illusion of boundless depth. The thoughts are yours and not yours, and they are all questions. This is really testing my memory bank here. Is this not the exact same text that we got when we emerged from that very first Ingwithan ruin and we got blown back and Kaliska died? I'm sure this was the exact same text. Which is interesting. It's almost like we've come full circle. At the base of the pillar stands Thaos, a look of concern on his face as he notes your approach. You have something you want to ask him, one question above all others, spinning madly in your mind, but you don't dare ask it yet. You need some admission from him first, some hint of the veracity of your suspicions.
You are far from your post, Inquisitor. What brings you here?
Your mind races, weighing different angles of approach, your emotions barely in check. Was Iovara telling the truth? This is obviously Fedoran almost regressing back into his previous life.
That woman sought only to destroy the foundations of peace and civility that my people sacrificed everything to build.
Was the entire Inquisition based on a lie?
The Inquisition was based on the need to cut the flesh from a rotting wound.
What is this place?
We are in a sanctum holy to Utica. There are others like it in service to the other gods. I come here often to pray for her counsel, and in this space I may be assured that she hears me.
What are these statues?
They are monuments to Utica's greatest servants among my people. I hope to join them myself one day, but my work is not yet complete.
And what's that machine behind you? What does it do?
It has many uses, but its purpose is to bring structure to the chaos that surrounds it.
You are shaking now, having lost all patience for tact. No more evasions. You have to know everything you believed, everything you have done for the gods. Did you lie to me when you said I was right to leave my family behind for the gods? Talk to me, damn you! Are there no gods?
What is a god? A higher power? A rewarder of good deeds and punisher of the wicked? Something men can turn to in their darkest moments when their days seem only like bridges from one tragedy to the next. Our gods are all these things.
With Thaos' every word, you find yourself losing control of a boiling cauldron of rage and doubt and fear and hopelessness until you can take it no more. Are there no gods?
We are in a sacred place within earshot of the gods themselves. This is not the time. You've been through much these past few months. You will return home and you will rest. When you feel you have recovered, you may rejoin us at the trials. The Inquisition is far from over, and I will have need of you. There are many who continue to spread the lies of the apostate. The Inquisition will not end until we have pronounced judgment on all of them.
His eyes linger on you, and there is no mistaking the threat behind it, and your rage shrinks at the image of an iron wheel in your mind, monolithic and caked with the dry blood of thousands. You do not ask your question again. Seems his former self backed down.
How did you find it?
Boof! I'm not here to talk. Bang! Take a leaf out of Nadog's Nadog's book. Nadog, pass me a hammer. It's not Fedoran style, unfortunately. If this was Nadog as the Watcher, it would be Boof. No questions. Put him down like the dog he is. Right. It was all Lady Webb.
Another in a string of acts of petty defiance. For all her knowledge, she always preferred spite over reason.
It was reason that guided her hand in this.
Then she should have obeyed. I ask one thing of all my followers. She was incapable. A waste of rare talent and intellect.
Her talent and intellect were too great for her to live as your servant.
What of your cohorts, then? They have followed you to their deaths. Is it loyalty that brings them here? Or is it, as my agents suggest, that they have no direction of their own?
Ooh. Scathing.
You worshipped Aethys, did you not?
Don't listen to him. He's trying to play us for fools. For the first time for a very long time, Fedoran, ever the calm person, there's a little anger just bubbling up in him.
Your spies are good. What gave me away? The cape?
Yet when your god needed you the most, you chose your country.
Adair frowns, irritated.
We were being invaded, not by anyone who was acting like a god.
Then I should think your hometown gave you a hero's welcome when you returned.
Well, they made cake. And I think you can expect folks to get jumpy when the gods aren't there to reassure them. Maybe if they weren't all too busy trying to kill each other.
The gods argue over how best to prevent Kith society from destroying itself. These disruptions would not be necessary were mortal instinct not so diseased.
Durance stares at Thaos with a beast's snarl. Thaos watches him calmly. Give him a piece of your mind, Durance. Go on. Give us a one-liner.
You built a weapon that delivered exactly as promised.
I served my goddess as you did yours.
Yet the other builders were slain. 11 of a dozen. Why not you? Were you somehow different? Redeemable in your god's sight?
There was a message there, whether she meant it or not.
Or was it merely that your goddess wanted you dead as well, and your delusions of importance prevented you from seeing the obvious?
A whore's beguiling charms, nothing more. But the spell's broke now, Thaos. The trial's over. I know friend from foe. And I've come here now to see a foe repaid.
You were able to destroy a god because another god wished it. Without her hand to guide you, you could not strike at a god any more than you could strike the sky. You are impotent, and not just from the pox.
Oh, don't let him say that to you, Durance.
You are far from home, dwarf.
Turning on Sagani now. Nobody's safe.
I knew my hunt would send me a long way from Masuk. It was a challenge I was glad to undertake for my village.
A journey, then? It must be of some import to take you so far and to last so long.
Anything worth doing comes at great cost.
So it was worth it, then, to tell a dying beast of things it neither understood nor had memory of.
And even our monk friend, holier than thou, surely he doesn't have any scathing words for Zawa.
I am told you are the last of a great line.
As are you.
But my line will continue unbroken. My people entrusted me with their wisdom, and I ensure that their legacy flourishes. Can you say the same?
My line is not ended while I still breathe. There is still hope for my master's legacy.
Your master's knowledge was already lost to the world. Any hope you had of rediscovering it ended with your arrival here. You are here because you are lost. The gods cannot reach everyone, I'm afraid. May you fare better in your next lives.
Have you quite finished?
I gather you have had your soul awakened. Why else would you shadow my footsteps like some stray mongrel? You think I have something to offer you, but our business was concluded long ago.
Our business will conclude when you have told me all I wish to know.
I answered your questions once. That your soul is not fit to accept the answers is of little concern to me. I lied to no one. Not to you, not to anyone. The gods are real. They are everything we need them to be, and the world is better for it.
You convinced me once to supplant my own family with phantom gods. These gods were family to neither of us.
The gods are family enough to me. Your family disowned you. I helped you find one that wouldn't. The power of a family is in its reassurance that you are not alone. I gave that to you. And now I seek to preserve that for this forsaken country as well. The heart of this country has skipped a beat, nothing more. I have done far worse. I plunged the peaceful kingdom of Thaos into civil war. I slew the monarch of Desantio, whose people never knew hardship under his rule, and replaced him with a cruel despot who brought them to ruin. When plague arrived at the great city of Arborensis, I saw to it that the cure did not. They piled their dead outside the city in heaps that rose above their walls.
Oh, yes. And you're proud of these atrocities? How can you justify these barbaric acts?
That's where you are mistaken. There was a time, back when your soul was still a shapeless mist, when the world believed only in false gods. Thousands of them. Gods that told them to take slaves. Gods that told them to make war upon their neighbors and devour the slain. Gods that told them to burn their children alive and cover themselves in the ashes as a sign of their faith. But all that changed when they learned of the true gods. Our gods. All those misshapen, bestial instincts melted beneath the radiance of our god's majesty. You could see it in their eyes. That dull emptiness replaced with the glimmer of a kindled spark.
Spark of false hope.
There is no false hope. Only hope for things that never come. Have you imagined this existence? The one the apostate would have created. We are not all so virtuous as she. Without our gods, the most wicked, the most tyrannical, they would take that power for themselves. But more than that, it would be a hollow existence. All mysteries forever unanswered. All purposes constructed from meaninglessness. No endings to bring closure. Only a wheel, turning without mercy, grinding our spirits to dust.
You underestimate people. I have encountered many in my travels. And you underestimate people.
For all my years, I have seen exactly what they are capable of. What the apostate asked was beyond any man. All I have seen, the millennia of experience. I will not be dissuaded from this course. This is the only way.
You're blind. You're blind to think yours is the only way. You are controlled by your own doubts.
We are all controlled by our own doubts. Better that we should be relieved of them. With your soul and thousands of others, I will see this world purged of its suffering. Hear me, Woodica. Your servant calls for aid.
Oh. The talking is done, apparently. All right. Let's dance.
Roak 10!
Ooh! Oh! Alright. You've got a few toys. Okay, how many we got here? We got two great hulking, creaturey, beastie, colossus things. Okay. Not a problem. Itamak, bite. Zawa, punch. Nadog, smash. And I think we might need a dare on Thaos as well, possibly. I'm gonna bring my other party members. No, didn't mean to unpause it. Was not ready for that. Can I put these guys in the middle? I think spread them out a little bit. Right, is he there? Yeah, he's there. So we'll go. What does that actually do? This stuns for 14 seconds. Is he immune to stun? He's resistant to stun, but only plus 10, so it might work. So he's going to use that. We've got Zawa, Woodica's headsman. He's punching. That's all he can do right now, that's fine. Sagani, okay, mark the target. Adair. He's massively immune or resistant to prone. He can actually be charmed or confused, which is very interesting. Fedoran has been using that spell for a long time throughout his travels, and there's just something deep within him that wants him to be able to say that he had him under his control for however long it might be. So we're going to try it, just for bragging rights. So let's see if we can get him charmed or confused. These two just need to attack. Right, Durance, with his multiple injuries due to his clumsy nature, is going to cast Initiative. I don't think we're going to need it, but I was thinking of casting that, just in case something goes horribly wrong. And that's everybody doing something for now. Right, okay, so he did his big hammer thing, but this creature didn't get stunned. That's not a problem. Nadog will just keep swinging like a madman. And he has been confused. Oh dear. Got him confused. Well done, Fedoran. Right, can these things be paralysed? They can. They're resistant but not immune. It's fine for now. Right, we'll focus on the big giant things. So, using our big spells, Crushing Doom. And what else we got? We got Hand of Weal and Woe. Quite a short range. Symbol of Magron. Oh, sort of even shorter range. Could go Fire. That kind of hits both these guys. Yeah, we'll go with that. Sagani is going to just turn her attention momentarily on this thing. He's casting... Is he casting something now? No, he's not. We will go with... Oh yes, he's got Hammer of Doom. He's casting that. So I was punching. Adair is just chilling out, waiting for this guy to leave his confused state. Oh, and Nadog's been knocked over prone for 6 seconds. That's not good. Okay. Has he cast his Hammer of Doom yet? No. Right, Itamak, come this way. Adair can stay here. Itamak's just going to try and keep him busy for now.
I have no use.
Has he cast it? No. Has he cast it? No? Yeah? No? Yeah, Crushing Doom. Right, I was going to try and paralyse this guy with a scroll. Might paralyse this one though, see if we can paralyse one. He's got... Confusion, he's losing confusion very shortly. Okay, right, knock him... Oh, he's immune to knockdown, isn't he? Oh, very, very resistant to it. Okay, come on, Nadog prone for a bit more time. These things are actually weakest to corrode damage. There. Do something. Did that work? Did that work? Yeah, it did work. Paralysed for 8 seconds. Right, we're going to turn our attention. Fedoran needs to focus on this guy. This is personal here. This is personal. Hammer on him. Hammer to the head. Poisoned. Anything to do? Not resistant to poison, I don't think. Right, casting that poison attack. Right. Go again.
Say the word.
Hello? Adair? Just try and knock him over. If it's just to interrupt him, for goodness sake.
Hey,
Right, we've got him. We're hitting him. He's gone. Where is he? Where are you running off to? Come here! Right, Nadog, Greater Frenzy. You're in a little... He's in the fire, you see. I think he's hit into the fire. I think he's fire. Running right past Durance. Come here. Come here, you little bugger.
what is that?
Oh, he's been knocked prone.
Let break out.
Ooh! What on earth? Is he quaffing a potion? I think he is, but it didn't really do much. There we go. Right, keep attacking. Wounding shot. Missiles.
Worth it.
Ooh!
Hey, leave it to me.
At your feet rests the body of Thaos, hollow, a dense wrinkle shaped by the silent shouldering of an eternal burden, now smoothed across his colour-drained face. His soul remains still for the moment, defenceless, its energy expended in defeat. It lies sprawled across his body like a death shroud.
After journeying for lifetimes, I can't imagine his failure, knowing it was all for nothing.
He was good at serving his god, I give him that. He should have picked a better one.
This man held to the world harder than any I have known. His suffering was plain to see.
With a deep breath you plunge into Thaos' soul, and where in Brackenbury it had been a maze of narrow corridors and dead ends, now it is expansive and borderless, its walls crumbling into heaps like the ruins of Engwith as you pass through them. You travel for what seems like ages, rushing to a known destination, a memory you glimpsed once before. At last you see it, no more than a pinprick of light at the end of a long tunnel, expanding slowly at first and quickly as you near. You come out in the room you are standing in now, but it is new and pristine and filled with people, thousands of them, all turned toward the great Adra pillar and the machine that encases it. Thaos stands at the machine and you are one with him now. You look out at the crowd, at faces of shriveled old men and cherub-cheeked little girls, at mothers bouncing infants to quiet them, and fathers clasping their children's restless hands and watching you with sombre acceptance. A woman with tears in her eyes gives you a small nod. You turn back toward the machine, your breaths constricted beneath the weight of unwanted knowledge, preparing yourself to set out alone on a journey without end. You close your eyes and open them again to find the machine still in front of you, beckoning. You take your place in front of it and place your hands upon a large mechanical disc at the base of the great crystal column and speak a single word. Giant rings creak to life, building speed, setting arrays of carved draconic mouths aglow and sending tremors through the platform beneath you. The entire room shakes now with the force of the accelerating machine, all sound drowned out by its deep, deafening thrum. Brilliant tendrils of light arc outward from the pillar in all directions, and you look over your shoulder to see them engulfing the crowd, burning them brightly like hot iron. One by one the tendrils disappear, leaving ashen effigies where people once stood, many of them disintegrating into grey heaps under the stress of the tremors. You look above to the Adra pillar, and a glowing spherical mass has begun to coalesce atop the column where the arcs converge. It grows and pulses translucent and bulbous, like some immense chrysalis, suspended in slow rotation as though it were being spun from the arcs of light. When the last arc disappears, the spectral mass hangs a moment, no longer rotating, so bright that you will shield your eyes with an outstretched hand, and it seems to you as though it's looking at you. You bow your head in acknowledgement and look back up to see it melt into the pillar like warm candle wax. The pillar flares with a flash of light, bright as the sun itself, and then fades to darkness. The machine slows down to an abrupt halt, and when the last echo of its grinding cogs has passed, the chamber is still, and you are alone. From all sides, reality begins to bleed in through the memory, and you find yourself in your own skin once more, looking down on Thaos' lifeless body. You sense a listlessness to Thaos' soul, an overwhelming fatigue that hinders its immediate escape and makes it vulnerable to manipulation. You feel as though your victory has given you some kind of hold over it, and you are able to do with it as you please. Return it to the cycle. Tear his soul apart. Banish his soul to Breath Aemon. Destroy all memories contained within. Tear his soul apart out of... There's one option to tear his soul apart to give him peace, the other to tear his soul apart out of malice. Oh. Oh. After all he's done and after all we have chased him down, Fedoran is Fedoran. Banishment. If it was good enough for Iavara to be banished, cast him to judgment. Just making sure here, just double checking this. Banishing him makes you like him. What? We're not going to do anything out of malice. That casts out number 5. Don't really want to grant him peace either. Erase all memory. I mean, this is the option I think fits best. So be it as it is.
You've let him off too easily, Watcher. I would have left such scars on his soul that he'd have begged escape from the wheel's turn.
You regard Thaos' soul still and subdued, and your pronouncement seems to empower your spirit. Your will seems to you now a thick chain, and you wind it around Thaos, constraining all movement, eliminating any possible last means of resistance. You call to mind the eternal prison, the vast empty cavern and its cells of Adra, vacated by souls that chose to betray themselves in order to escape an infinite abyss of hopeless self-reflection. You choose a vacant pillar and pour your consciousness into it, creating a perfect, inescapable hollow with space for one. And now you gather up Thaos' soul and bear it to the pillar like some bodiless jailer conjured by justice itself. You can feel its resistance now, the abject terror radiating from it, but your bindings will not be broken. When at last it is sealed away and you begin to recede back to your centre, you could almost swear you hear a distant, wordless cry for mercy. In the stillness that follows, a single word echoes through your mind, a word you spoke when you were one with Thaos in an ancient memory. You realise it is the word that activates the machine. Ooh, we got conversation. So he's been banished. He has been put in an Adra prison cell for eternity by the sounds of it. An Adra pillar of eternity. How appropriate. Oh.
Hey.
Right. Let us chat, shall we? I think some people might want to get a few things off their chest. We'll start with Durance.
Ah, the end of the road greets us at last. You fared well, Watcher. Better than any Watcher has right to. Seems you were a field in need of a flame's cleansing. But with that trial's end, a new one begins. A God's trial. And I will stand in judgment without mercy.
Sagani?
Never thought I'd see something like this in my travels. Lends a little perspective, doesn't it? To think, the decisions the Angwithans made thousands of years ago still shape our lives today. It would be a shame to deny these souls the chance to find their own way and their own purpose.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Well, it's been a pleasure travelling with you, Sagani. Thank you for your assistance.
I'd probably still be twiddling my thumbs by the side of the road if you hadn't come along. Thanks for bringing us this far.
Adair wants to speak as well.
Thaos, he had hold of your soul from a long time back, seems like. You get what you needed from him?
Justice. I got justice.
Not many can say that these days. Not in this country where they think the gods have abandoned them. You'll be feeling better soon then. Good. That's real good. You got it figured out what you're going to do about all that?
Of course I do. He says, when in fact he's probably still mulling it over right now.
Got a lot of people out there thinking they've been abandoned by their gods. There's not much that'll put the fear in you more than that. You can take my word for it. If it was in my power, and I know it's not, but if it was, I'd send every last one of those souls right back where they were supposed to go in the first place. So folks could get back to believing what they used to. And after what you've been through, though, I'm sure you got your own ideas. Better make it good.
Oh. Is that this thing here? Yeah. It is this thing here. Right, my friends. I want you all to stay here. I need to do this on my own.
Ready when you are.
As you approach the machine, the path underfoot suddenly changes to a cobbled road. If you hadn't experienced visions like this already in Ter Evron, you were tempted to believe that the machine had sucked you into it and deposited you in the middle of nowhere. The sun blazes overhead, and the rolling meadows and thick forests on either side of the road could be anywhere in the D-Wood. A shrill cackle turns your head. Standing next to you is a malnourished man, clad in a threadbare loincloth and manacles. His entire body is striped with lash marks, and there are scarred pits where his nose and ears should be. He stinks of stale sweat and unwashed filth. You notice someone wandering down the road, but the figure's back is to you. The scarred slave has your attention for now.
I have observed you, Watcher. The way you handled that noble girl in Deerford, delivering an idol effigy to her uncle. A most careful scheme.
Wow. Yeah, way back when.
You have labored at the pleasure of others. That shriveled hag in Hadrit House. Those preening soldiers with more taste for silk than steel. The wretched tribesmen playing out their fantasies of grandeur. And then you cowered and knelt before the gods themselves, begging one paltry favor and receiving riddles and visions in response. And now the gods give you orders and commands, even while you set out to fix what they cannot. Yet what have they offered you?
Given the breadth of the iron manacle, it's amazing that he can raise his bone-thin arm, but he does, and he points to the person walking the other way along the road.
The exiled queen is not an ungrateful patron.
You get a better look at the lone figure and realise that she's wearing robes tattered and singed, but fine nonetheless. On her head is a silhouette of a broken crown. She continues walking, her pace slow but determined.
Finish the work Thaos began. Strengthen Woodica with these souls and allow her to become the most powerful of all the gods, with you as her favored.
Helping her would mean that the secrets of the gods stay hidden. Safely hidden, yes, from the violent overlords who would cease to fear punishment in the next life, from the heavy-handed masters who would answer to no one. The world needs some schemes, or are the souls of Kith so pure that you would snap the tenuous threads that bind society? Well, I think it's quite obvious what being her favoured means. I've been working against her this whole time. Why would she thank me now after I defeated her most loyal servant? I don't think he's got any care for Thaos, really, to be quite honest. Loyal and weak. Thaos proved his inadequacy when he failed to anticipate you. A plan exposed is worse than none at all. But you have proven resourceful, equal to the schemes of gods. Woodica has a long memory, Watcher, for both friends and foes, and she keeps her oaths. Okay, asking what he means by her favoured. The recipient of Woodica's blessings. She has always had a place for mortals of particular merit. If you help her now, she will become the most powerful of all the gods, and you will be the one who made her so. Think of the lifetime of reward you would reap. Oh, would that interest Fedoran? A lifetime of reward and power? The only reward I wish is the joy of pulling bloody shards of her broken crown from my staff when I have finished with her trial. So says your companion who's been abandoned by his own god. Do you really trust him to make alliances for you? I've explained the alternative, Watcher. Continue as a pawn of the gods, or a partner of one. At the other end of the road, the figure stops. She turns her head just enough to look over her shoulder. Her face is mostly hidden, but one merciless eye peers at you from a cheek of rippled, scorched flesh. I won't help you. No chance.
You say that now, but when you're standing in front of the machine, considering the lifetimes and the powers that await you, we'll see what you do.
He continues down the road, and when the sun suddenly drops below the horizon, it plunges you into momentary darkness. You come to your senses in front of the machine. All these evils we've seen, going all the way back to the Saints' War, that was all Woodica? Imagine if she was stronger on top of it all.
Ready when you are.
Right, as we were going before we were rudely interrupted,
Not a problem.
we were walking with a sort of nervous purpose, really. Okay, here goes. With your companions, stood a little bit down the road there, bearing witness, you step up to the place where Thaos once stood before his people long ago. The great machine lies in front of you, idle, ready. You have seen this machine and others like it in operation. You understand how it works. It is a device for directing souls. As a watcher, it would be a simple matter to influence that direction, though as big as the machine is, it may be the last thing you ever do. Speak the command. There is a shrieking of stone grinding against stone as old cogs loosen and begin to turn. You have only moments before the souls will be sent into the Adra vein. This will be your only chance at redirecting them. Okay, so we've got plenty of options, not just 2, 3, but we've got a few. Send the souls back into the reincarnation cycle. That was what the other god, was it Whale? That Whale's option? Return the souls to the bodies they were intended for. Entropically disintegrate them. No. Distribute this essence to existing souls in the D-word to strengthen them. That's the 3 gods who we promised. We promised we'd do that. Allow the souls to pass through the veins. No. Disperse the souls to an unknown location. Or is that the Whale's option? Out of all of these options, number 2 seems like something that Fedoran would do. Forget the gods. If what Eovar has said is true, then they don't technically exist anyway. Or if, well, man-made creations. Souls back to where they belong. It's got to be the best way. Nope, I'm doing it. Don't want to think too long, otherwise we'll be here all night. You close your eyes and expand your perception outward, taking in the immense totality of the tens of thousands of souls orbiting the chamber. Your grasp on the souls is tenuous. You find yourself fighting to keep them all within your influence, and you can feel them slipping away from you as the machine gains speed. A brief moment comes when it feels as though you hold all of them at once, and their force is so great it feels as though they will tear you apart. In that moment, you dedicate your entire being to bending their orbit, channeling their flow in a new direction.
At your command, the ancient device became your instrument, spinning to life with deafening resonance and gathering up the swirling essence like thread on a great spindle. There, in the pale pulsing glow of the machine that set you on this path long ago, you summoned all your strength, focusing on your objective and blocking out all else. With a single concussive blast that rocked the chamber and sent you tumbling to the ground, you freed the souls from their stasis. Exhausted, your consciousness slipping away, your last sight was of the machine, dark and dormant. Then your eyes closed, and sleep welcomed you at long last. After coming to and searching for some time, you discovered the route Thaos used to enter Sun and Shadow, and embarked on a long and arduous ascent back to the surface. You emerged in Ter Evron after days of tunneling through the rubble Thaos had left behind, and when you stepped into the daylight, you were faced with a different Deerwood than the one you had left.
Oh, please don't be bad.
At your direction, the souls diverted by Thaos were guided back to the vessels originally meant for them. For the first time, parents of hollow-born children woke to the cries of their infants and looked into their eyes to see them staring back. People fell to their knees where they stood, thanking Helia or Mogren, or even Aethys for their forgiveness of whatever guilt they felt they bore. But for all the relief that had come to some parents, others only found new grief. For many thousands of Hollowborn had died during Wideone's legacy, many by their parents' own hands. For those children, there would be no homecoming. Yet the last Hollow birth was in the past now, and those parents willing to risk trying for a new child were frequently rewarded, often with twins. Many felt they saw Helia's hand in it, and the year would be remembered as the Year of Helia's Splendor. It is said that Galawain is the enforcer of the gods, and is known to hunt down those who wrong them. To wrong Galawain, then, is truly to wake the beast, and the father of monsters took great umbrage at your broken promise to him. Along with Mogren and Abidan, Galawain embarked upon a more direct approach to claiming his quarry. In the months that followed, the frontier settlements of Deerwood were inexplicably attacked by packs of beasts and monsters, suddenly organized and unafraid to approach Kith on their own land. Many such villages were all but destroyed by the time troops could be dispatched from local garrisons. Those that weren't destroyed by the beasts of Galawain often found themselves at the mercy of the fires of Mogren. A dry spell throughout Deerwood led to a rash of forest fires on a scale not seen since the War of Black Trees, and many settlements paid the price for their proximity to the wilderness. In the cities, meanwhile, dabblers in animancy who had placed souls into golems and other moving vessels soon found that their creations had risen up against them.
Jesus wept.
Such constructs terrorized their surroundings, killing indiscriminately and often in great numbers before being subdued. Gilded Vale remained under the harsh rule of Lord Radric, who reigned unopposed after the death of his cousin Kolsch. He continued to terrorize the people of Gilded Vale, looking for Aerthasians in their midst. But to Radric, the sudden and unexpected end to Wideone's legacy came as a sign of the success and righteousness of his efforts, and in time his own people came to believe it too. He relaxed his use of authority, no longer seeing his own people as potential threats, and Gilded Vale began to regain some of its old luster. Following the assassinations of Duke Avar Wolfgren and Lady Webb, Defiance Bay was thrown into political upheaval. In the ensuing weeks, the streets had become the domain of looters and blackguards. Few dared to step outside their own doors alone or unarmed. But order was soon re-established by the Knights of the Crucible, who, despite their depleted numbers, had gained favor in the public eye for their role in the unraveling of the conspiracy surrounding Wideone's legacy, and were quickly reinforced by returning forces from Fleetbreaker Castle. For the Knights, Their resurgence marked a return to the tradition as well. Having seen firsthand the dangers presented by dabblers in animancy, the Order quickly abolished the practice internally, preferring the familiarity of their hammers and forges to the uncertainties of Essence and Adra. Their identity rediscovered, the Knights suppressed their political aspirations and began once again to train their recruits in the art of blacksmithing, recapturing the post-revolutionary ideals of Deerwood and regaining the respect of its citizens as a result. Though the machine atop Ter Noaneth had been disabled, it had not seen its last use. Heritage Hill was rebuilt, and no sooner had the first families moved in to resettle the district than members of the Leaden Key, acting under standing orders from their Grand Master, climbed the tower and reactivated the machine. The initiates slew a handful of the new settlers under cover of night and watched as history repeated itself, the victims reanimating and devouring the survivors. After this second incident, the district would remain abandoned. The Duke's assassination at the apparent hands of an animancer had caused catastrophic rioting in the streets of Defiance Bay. But those who had escaped the melee and the palace hearings remembered the testimonies of the strange guest who had shown up that day and absolved animancy, implicating the Leaden Key instead. The rumor spread quickly, and soon the popular belief was that the assassin had been a Leaden Key spy. When the legacy had lifted, people came to see it not as a sign that the riots had been according to the gods' wishes, as Thaos had hoped, but as a confirmation that animancy had never been the source of the problem in the first place. Deerwoodans instead convinced themselves that the riots had somehow purged Defiance Bay of Leaden Key spies, and that the end of Widewind's legacy was their well-deserved reward. The rage against animancers was quickly forgotten, and those who had survived were permitted to return to Brackenberry Sanitarium and rebuild it so they might resume their studies. In the town of Deerford, an underground cult dedicated to Scan insinuated itself into the town's institutions. It became a popular travel destination for the wealthy, who were actively courted by the town's leadership. But few who visited the town would ever return, as they soon found their fortunes plummeting and their reputations destroyed by their own kin. Abidun's renewal brought new vigor and purpose to a god long known for quiet, steady labor. Handicraft saw a revival in the Deerwood, and no smith wanted for an apprentice. Additionally, Abidun's restored interest in preservation led to redoubled efforts to survey Engwithan ruins. Animancers and craftsmen alike found much to study, but tensions with Air Glanfath rose. As for Stalwart, the Battle of Caron's Scar only strengthened their resolve to unlock the mysteries of Durgan steel and build new marvels with the White Forge. However, Stalwart's ambitions brought them into further conflict with the Raid Serens, as more and more impoverished communities gathered at the border and vowed to finish the work of the Iron Flail. It would be many generations before the region saw peace. The Flames That Whisper clan found a cautious peace with Stalwart, particularly once the villagers heard of the aid the ogres had offered against the Eyeless. The clan moved back into the Russet Wood, and as Stalwart grew in prestige, the villagers formed a tighter alliance with their ogre neighbors. Within a generation, ogre traders visited Stalwart, and village hunters were welcome in the Russet Wood. Zawa came to believe that the Dakan had survived through him. He returned to Ishamatal, where he united a number of small, vulnerable tribes under the beliefs of his people. He called them Takanakin, kin of Takan, and under his tutelage, they became strong enough to resist would-be conquerors. Zawa taught his secrets not to one chosen person, but to all, that the line of knowledge might never be broken. Free from the burden of her memory, Maneha soon left the gift-bearers and resumed adventuring. Now that she had a taste for the world, she wanted to experience it anew. Maneha rediscovered her zest for battle, extravagance, and romance. She kept her gaze on the horizon, looking from one journey to another more distant, from the lover in her arms to another more fervent. Hers was a life of excitement, violence, and passion. She moved too quickly for regret to catch up with her, and she hoped only that she might outpace it in the next life as well. The fortress of Cadnua emerged as a bastion of security in the midst of an untamed land, becoming the envy of every thane and earl in Deerwood. Legend grew over time of its impregnability, and stories of formidable invaders easily scattered by the keep's defenses became popular around the hearths of Deerwoodinians. Likewise, it also became a beacon to travelers, merchants, and visiting dignitaries alike. Reputed as the finest fortress in all Deerwood, people would journey from near and distant lands alike to experience its fabled hospitality and grandeur. After the death of the Master below, a strange quiet fell over the endless paths of Ad-Nua. The attacks on the fortress above ceased, Ad-Nua's silent titan the closest remaining thing to a master in its musty, forgotten passages. Pallegina had gone against the Duke's Bell's orders by inventing a new trade arrangement with the Anamenfath to accommodate the recovering Deerwooden market. With the Deerwood's people still weakened by Weidman's legacy, the Valian republics easily pushed their would-be competitors out of the market. For her outrageous insubordination and audacity, Pallegina was banished from the republics. She traveled north in the Eastern Reach, avoiding Valian ports and entering the ranks of the kind wayfarers. Despite her bravery and dedication to those in her care, her strange appearance made her feel like an outsider wherever she went. With your business concluded, Haravius quietly took his leave and headed home to Thane Bog. The elders of the Fisher Crane had not warmed to Haravius in his absence, and when he arrived, he was denounced and scorned. Haravius spoke of his deeds and of his communion with Galawain, yet none would support his petition to return to the tribe. One by one, starting with the oldest, Haravius challenged each member of the council to single combat, humiliating the Riau in a series of savage duels. With half the council bloodied and shamed, the elders at last acknowledged Haravius' strength, announcing him a hunter of the Fisher Crane tribe. Upon being granted this title, Haravius calmly left the village and embarked again on his life of wandering. Adair chose not to return home to Gilded Vale. Through a number of quiet inquiries, he soon found his way into the underground organization of Aethasians known as the Night Market. Ironically, in learning that the gods had been fabricated, Adair found his faith in Aethus renewed, and that his god was neither alive nor truly a god had become irrelevant. He rose quickly through the ranks of the Night Market for his optimism and for his bold leadership, his ultimate goal to make the Deerwood a place that would welcome followers of the Shining God once again. When the dust settled in Sun and Shadow, Aloth looked upon the remains of Thaos Ix Arcanon, his former master. He saw where the Grandmaster had gone wrong, and he knew what he would do better. The secret of the gods would be preserved, and with it, the sanity and well-being of all Kith. He donned the remains of Thaos' ceremonial garb and prepared himself for the long and lonely task ahead. With the Watcher's goals accomplished and his own vows fulfilled, Kanarua sailed back to Tekoa. His friends and family found him much changed, for a pall had fallen upon the man, smothering his former enthusiasm. Called before the Lore College, Kana told them of the pain the Engwithan legacy brought to the lands abroad. He insisted that a search for answers abroad could only fragment the Rawatai people, as it had done to the Deerwood. His findings were met with much respect, and Kanarua's voice came to be considered an influential one in the growing move towards Rawatai's isolation. With Thaos defeated and the souls released from Sun and Shadow, healthy children were born once again in the Deerwood. The grieving mother sought a place where she might do penance for the birthing bell. She returned to Deerford, where, to the astonishment of the villagers, she delivered the first healthy child in over a decade. She remained there, and with each new birth, she saw a measure of hope restored to the Deerwood, and a measure of grace for her own troubled past. Durrance continued to blame Woodica for the atrocities of the Saints' War. Believing Magrin to have been a pawn in the machinations of the Queen that was, and feeling that Thaos' expulsion had been a step towards reconciliation with his goddess, Durrance tried for a time to reopen communication with her. When only silence came, he took it as a condemnation of his continued existence. Ultimately, he built a pyre and threw himself upon it, using his own shattered staff as kindling. Sagani experienced the 4 months of her journey back to Masuk in vivid colors. She strove to memorize every moment of her final trip through the Deerwood, Erglonfoth, the Valian Republics, and beyond, preparing to tell her village of what she had seen on her long journey. All of Masuk shared in her triumph, and she felt her pride and elation magnified by the joy of her village. Never again did she doubt the value of her sacrifices. After decades as a long hunter, Sagani finally became one of Masuk's most respected elders. She guided her community with wise counsel, and a generation after she finally passed, another huntress journeyed into the world to find her soul. For you, the death of Thaos brought an end to your waking visions, and a silence to the whispers of the past. In their absence, you were able to sleep. The questions of a distant lifetime ceased to trouble your soul. All that remained was what to make of the answer. But at the moment, there was little to be done, and the matter would have to wait. A long journey loomed ahead.
Oh man, well that was a mixed bag, wasn't it? Some happy times and some, well, not so happy times. But all in all, well, I'm happy with Fedoran's choices. He made them as only Fedoran could. Oh man, I really enjoyed that. Yeah, that was the worst bit. The part when all the villagers were attacked by the wolves and the horrible fires. Goodness grief! But at least we got babies being born again. Babies being born. That's the main thing. It's all about the babies. Final thoughts on the game. Holy hell! It's too soon. It's too soon. Was this as long as Skyrim? Nowhere near, mate. Nowhere near. Skyrim lasted about, what, 3 years? Over 400 parts? This is probably a third of that. Yeah, I did enjoy this game. I did enjoy it. I really enjoyed Fedora as a character. Not usually the kind of hero you kind of expect, really. Somebody who's quite a bit of a shrinking violet. Somebody that talks the talk but can't walk the walk sort of thing. But I think he got there in the end. And going on to Pillars of Eternity 2, if that is it is a sequel, not a prequel, I believe. It is a sequel. So I'd say that he's going to be a slightly different character when he commences his new adventures. There's going to be a bit of a swagger and spring in his step with his newfound confidence. I'll leave you to make that decision. Yeah, I know. Indeed you can. Which is why I was trying to make sure that I picked everything that I wanted to pick, just in case it has an impact on how we proceed forwards into the next game. I'm also going to make sure that I've got a backup save ready, just in case if I uninstall it, the save disappears. That would be hilariously bad. So I'm going to back up the save and everything, just to make sure. But yeah, thoughts on this game, I've really enjoyed it. For me, still doesn't surpass Baldur's Gate. I don't know. I think it's because Baldur's Gate was actually the very first isometric viewed RPG that I played, and it's that sort of nostalgic feeling. You just cannot dislodge nostalgia, And even if I end up playing an RPG in a similar manner that's probably better than Baldur's Gate, I probably still wouldn't, you know, dislodge that fondness that I have for Baldur's Gate. But yeah, this has been really good. I've enjoyed the characters. You know, the music. I don't think the music has been as good as Baldur's Gate. I mean, Baldur's Gate is a very old style, old school music, I suppose. But to compare the two, we've had some really good music in this. But doesn't. If we compare this to like Divinity, for instance, I think Divinity's music is better. I don't recall too many in-game themes that have really gripped me, like a lot of the Divinity soundtracks did. But yeah, this is obviously a much darker game. Much darker. The story, I think, got a little bit confusing towards the end, and yet you've got to really rack your brains as to how what you learn at the back end intertwines with all the stuff that was going on at the very beginning. It got a little bit complex at times, and quite difficult to follow. For me personally, I'm not very good at that kind of thing when I'm trying to concentrate on playing. Sometimes it's difficult for me to focus on really complex affairs. But so that was it. If that was to be a one criticism of the game, it would be that it's a bit of an information overload towards the end. It almost felt like they were sort of scratching at ways to make the story all tie together at times. And another maybe slight criticism is with the DLCs. I think the fact that I don't know how it works, but the fact that I was told that the DLCs impact on the ending of the main game, don't like that. I did play them, and actually I did enjoy the White March 2 actually really quite a lot, and I'm glad I did end up playing it in the end. But having important decisions tied down to a DLC that you might not want to play, I think is a little bit cheeky as a way to try and get extra money out of you. But anyway, that's a slight minor thing. But yeah, all in all, I don't usually rate games in terms of 1 to 10, especially so soon after playing them. I usually sum up how I've enjoyed a game maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 months after I finished it. When everything's died down, that's when I can look back and critically reflect, actually, how much did I enjoy that? Looking at it down the line, rather than right now as I've just finished it. But if I was to score it out of 10, I'd give it a solid 9, certainly. You know, there is room for improvements. A lot of reading, of course. I don't mind reading, and of course LPing it, you're reading out loud, which makes it even worse. If you're reading it in your head, you can read far quicker and it's a lot easier. Reading it out loud is obviously more of a chore. Pillars of Eternity 2 has, of course, voice acting, which is going to be a welcome bonus. Much welcome bonus. I can give my voice calls a bit of a break. I would have died in the keep at the end if we hadn't played. Oh wow, it's a good job we did finish it, and that's the kind of thing that I don't like. But yeah, I think a solid 9. It's definitely enjoyable. Yeah, it's been fun. Fedoran dodged a bullet. He certainly did. He always seems to know what he's doing, Fedoran. He has people think he's a bumbling, fumbling moron, but deep down he could be one of these people that's just a facade. Deep down he could be a very clever individual inside and is playing us all for fools. I mean, how many situations did he manage to talk himself out of? I'm telling you, he's got us playing a damn tune. He's probably sitting there having the last laughs, thinking, those companions thought I was foolish and stupid. And here I am, still alive, in my keep. Durance is dead, thrown himself on a pyre, and all the rest of it. But no, yeah, it's been good fun. I actually really do like the roleplay of this game. I think it lends itself nicely to character creation, and it gives you so many vast choices. If that was to be the biggest thing for me, it was the the amount of choices you could make with your conversations, and you know, you did actually feel, you know, you were developing your character. It did feel like that. Right at the back, at the very start, I did comment when I created Fedoran if whether or not we would get options in the game for me to be able to portray him as I wanted to portray him, and I feel I've achieved that with the options that were available. There was plenty of them, so that was a very, very big plus. Yeah. So there you go. That's my thoughts in a bit of a roundabout, rambly way. Probably the most in-depth thoughts I've ever given on a game. I don't do reviews very well, but yeah. I'm looking forward to Pillars of Eternity 2. Somebody's asked, when am I going to start Pillars of Eternity 2? This game, this LP has lasted. It's been dragged out a little bit because of the fact that I didn't LP during the summer very much. And obviously there was a bit of a pause when I got a new computer, and you know, there's been things over the past, how long has it been? It started in May, it's now October, what's that, 17 months. This has been a 17-month LP, so there's been a few things in between that slowed it down. So after playing a game like this, and if we've played Divinity 2 as well, we streamed Divinity 2 alongside way back at the start of the year, I think I've had my fill, for the time being, of classic style RPGs. So I'm going to take a break from the classic style RPGs, and I'm swinging myself into some strategy, some grand strategy campaigns, some Total War, some CK2 for a completely different change for a while. And after I finish those campaigns and those series, I'll see where we're at. I do want to give you some Red Dead Redemption 2, not a full series, but maybe similar to some games gone by where I give you a little taster of a session or two, just for those that are interested who want to see the game, who haven't got it themselves. I'll probably do a couple of streams of that as well. So there's lots coming up, lots to do, more streams, more LPs. And another quick word whilst we're here discussing these kind of things. Going forward on the channel, when it comes, I mean, I could do a video update, but my room isn't finished yet, and I'm refusing to do a video update until my room is completely finished. So until I get my wardrobe put up, as described earlier, and I get my blinds done, there's going to be no video updates. But yeah, I am thinking going forward that I'm not going to really distinguish between LP series and stream series anymore. I think that I'm just going to do game series, and they're going to be a mixture of the two of the two different types of video. So if I'm free to do a stream, then I'll do a stream. If I'm not going to be able to do a stream for a while, or for whatever reason, then I'll just fill that time with regular recorded videos. A mixture of the two. Streaming is a great way to keep pace. You know, there's no editing and messing around and rendering and all that nonsense that takes so much time. And once you get into the swing of streaming and the interactions with you guys and little bits sometimes of group decisions and things and fleshing things out in the chat, you don't get that when you're recording on your own, and it's not as fun, you know. So I think we're gonna go with game series moving forward, and they're gonna be a mixture of recorded LP old style footage mixed in with streams, and that also goes for CK2. It might not be stream all the way. I might throw in some normal LP videos as well. Those might contain, I don't know, just other, maybe some looking over characters and things without going too far forward in time, but there will be some normal videos thrown in there as well. Life is Strange will always, the short episodic series are always going to be full on stream series, just because the episodes are usually about 4 hours long, 3 hours long, and you can do them in one sitting, so that makes sense. They will always be stream series, but other longer games, the main LPs as they used to be, will be a mixture of the two. I think that's the best way to go forward. The only drawback, of course, is this, if you don't watch the stream live, I know a 4-hour video thrown up on the channel of a post-recorded stream can be overwhelming to watch. But be that as it may, it's not impossible, and YouTube leaves off where you left off last time, so it's not as if you have to find the where you left off every time, so it's doable. So yeah. So the next question is, when is the new game series going to start, really? Because, well, we have now only Sorcery on the go, and nothing else. Which means there's plenty of room for more fun and games. So CK2 is going to start middle of October. From now until then, I'm going to just have a bit of a play around with the game, get used to the new features, get my eye back in again so that I'm not completely bumbling through the first few episodes. And yeah, give myself about a week to do that. So yeah, the series will start probably in a week to a week and a half's time. If it's not going to be next Tuesday, it'll be the weekend after next. So that's coming very, very soon. Hold on to your hats, folks. If you're looking forward to that, I think it's going to be a good one. I'm watching my old Fleming series just to get myself back into the groove, and yeah, I've got the taste for CK2 now. It's sucked me right back in again. Looking forward to trying out some of the new features. And yeah, for the Total War is going to be Fall of the Samurai. Fall of the Samurai. I have been so itching to play that game. And I will say that I'm not going to start that just yet. I'm going to start CK2 first. I don't want to start two series at the same time. So we'll start CK2, have that go for a couple of weeks or so. And then I'm going to start Fall of the Samurai. Perhaps when I've finished Sorcery Part 2. Yeah, I'm going to advise you all, as homework, as research for the series, to watch Tom Cruise's The Last Samurai. Whatever you think of it, whether you've seen it or not, just watch it, because that's the kind of theme I'm going for when it comes to that series. Little Tom Cruise is running around. So yeah, I'm not telling you no lies. I'm gonna watch it before I start that series to get myself into that mood, and yeah, I'm gonna be going for a traditional clan that is very much anti-Western culture, and we're gonna try and preserve the old methods in the face of gunpowder. Right, well, the credits are still rolling. If anybody wants to ask any questions, I'll keep streaming for about another 5 minutes whilst this epic music plays. I hate skipping credits. I don't know what it is about credits, but if you notice, I very rarely skip credit screens in any of my... I like to watch the credits. I like just to have the game finish naturally. And I'm always fearful of maybe skipping like something right at the very end, a little nugget of information, or a little hidden video mode or something. The first session will be a stream, so that will be, as I said, that will be either next Tuesday, or if not, the weekend after next. But that will be the next. That will probably be the next stream. This is new music. I haven't heard this before. Sorry? Walking Dead is saved? Who saved it? Where did you hear this news? I really like this music. If this music was not battle music in the game, they missed a trick. This would have made great battle music. Some company has saved it. Right, that's really good to hear. That is really good to hear. I'm assuming they're going to be sort of reaching out to ex-Telltale employees to pick their brains as to how they intended to end the series, or are they just going to create their own ending? I suppose it would make no difference really. If they're fans of the game, they could probably come up with their own ending just as well, I suppose. But kind of weird. But yeah, I'm glad to hear that. I was going to uninstall it off my computer. Skybound, we've heard of Skybound, right? I've played some Skybound games. Well, it sounds like it's in safe hands then. That's that's definitely very good to know. I may keep it installed on my computer then. Although I don't expect them to be releasing any episodes anytime soon, obviously. They'll probably have to get their feet under the table. But yeah, that's definitely very good news indeed. Not a clue. Crusader Kings 2 Dark Phoenix. We have a resident Japanese historian. I'm going to be tapping into your history, histrionics, Emperor Sephiroth. I'm going to be tapping in, definitely, to help immerse myself into the campaign proper. Oh yes. We are returning. Yeah, a lot of people. Some of these will be the cleaners, you know, the chefs in the canteen. Oh, are these Kickstarter people? Oh, God bless them. Without these guys, this wouldn't have happened. So let's not mock. I take it back. Additional Kickstarter backers. So technically speaking then, all of these guys will have had their name somewhere in the game, either on a character or in one of those memorial things. Is that right? Or did you have to have a certain level of donation to get that? I think it must have been a certain level of donation. There can't be this many people's name in the game. Lots of people. Do you know I just said that there's no music in this game that's really got me going? Really? Apart from the main intro theme. It just so happens that in the credits, they're playing all the bloody best songs now. Venom. Do you know what? I am so sick to the back teeth of comic book movies. You cannot move to a cinema without some form of comic book movie on the damn screen. It's just like taken over the world. It's ridiculous. I mean, if you're a comic book fan, fine, but it is just ridiculous. I don't watch any of them. I don't watch any of them. After watching the first few, I'm like, I'm not watching any more of these. I mean, I'm not, it's just, it's my personal choice. I'm not a big comic book movie fan. I don't know much about the characters and the histrionics of it all. But it's when you go and watch, even if you go and watch something that's completely, utterly random. Like, I went to watch The Equalizer 2 was the last film I watched. And I actually really enjoyed that. And again, you just sit there and you just can't even watch a normal film without the credits being littered with the next flipping comic book film. It is, oh my god, it's just does my head in. Really does. But here we are. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to allow this menu music just to play one last time. One last time, because after this I shall never boot this game up again. So I'm just going to enjoy it. I remember when I first booted this game up and this theme came on, and it was like, I bought the game when it first came out and I started LPing it like almost a year after I purchased it. I purchased it in the run. I'm gonna get this game, it looks awesome, and then I didn't play it for ages. Imperator Rome is a CK2, it's a Paradox game. Somebody alerted me to that game not so long ago. It was completely new to me, never heard of it. But Hellfire, yes, I am going to play it. If I enjoy it, there will certainly be a series going on it, because I love Roman history. I've actually got goose pimples. You know when you invest, when you play a game normally, you probably play it and you finish it in what? A game this long, you probably finish it in a month. I mean, I'd probably finish a game this long in about a month. If I was playing it off camera and playing it normally, about 2 or 3, 4 hours a day, I'd probably finish it in what, about a month. It took me a month to finish Final Fantasy, it's probably the same length. But when you're LPing a game like this, obviously it drags out because of the pacing. It drags out over a long time. So this has been 18 months. That's just about to end. It's not quite as bad as when the Harry Potter books finished, and I was like, what the hell am I going to do now? But it's a similar feeling. It's like, no more. Until Pillars of Eternity 2, of course. Right, anyway, I'm going to go for a flipping cup of tea because I need one. So, as I said, there's no stream tomorrow. The next stream will probably, I say probably, can't be 100% certain, but will probably be next Tuesday, CK2. If not, it'll be the next Saturday, or next Friday, rather, or one of the two. So I'm going to now spend the rest of my week practicing. So enjoy the rest of your weeks. For the entire, we're going to be uploading some more sorcery throughout the week. See how Heinrich gets on. A second shot through the city. But yeah, thanks for watching. Not just today, but for the entire series. Don't worry, guys. Fedora will be back with you soon enough. Until then, see you soon.